What is racism at WSU? People often call Pullman the promised land, a home away from home, or a place to figure all your worries. If you aren't a person of color, then it can be. Students of color face racism every day, yet when they speak out on it, they often hear, "Racism doesn't exist here. I have never seen something racist on campus before. What does it even look like?" Racism looks like being placed in introductory courses simply because you didn't score high enough on a test that wasn't manufactured for people of color. Racism sounds like, who taught you to speak English so well when you were born and raised in America? Racism looks like pro-build the wall demonstrations. Racism sounds like randomly being called the N-word while walking home. Racism looks like being invited to a fraternity party and then being called derogatory names and thrown out just because you're a black woman. Racism looks like demographic numbers being used for grant funding. Racism looks like the promotion of diversity on campus, yet students of color not even knowing they make up 30% of the school's population.
It's in 5.
It's in 5? Okay.
I want to say around 15-20%.
Racism looks like professors not taking you seriously because of the color of your skin. Racism looks like geographic redlining, placing first-year students of color and international students in residence halls built over 50 years ago on the south side of campus. Racism looks like institutions defending racially derogatory language in classrooms. Racism looks like almost every building on campus being named after a white cisgender male. Racism looks like students of color paying $28,000 a year for the same education as 72% of the population, but not having their issues taken seriously. Racism looks like athletic teams full of students of color, but no students of color supporting the teams because they can't afford a sports pass. Racism looks like highlighting athletes of color for profit of institutions, yet leaving them stranded with non-hireable degrees. Racism looks like Cinco de Janko and Gangsta Bros and Hip Hop Host and Nibs Changes. Racism looks like culture appropriation on Halloween and having the privilege to say, "It's just a costume." Racism looks like tokenizing your one black friend as an excuse to say, "I'm not racist," after using a derogatory term in the sentence prior. As an institution, we are often silent on the issues of racism on our campus, and paint a picture of a progressive post-racial university here in Washington State. So if racism doesn't exist here, then why do I have so much to say?